Yeah. The last item that will be discussed in our lecture today is stative and dynamic. Here we are going towards to classify the parts of a speech that previously discussed or explained. Which parts are stative and what parts are dynamic, and in which sense. Let us agree on one point. All the closed system items are what? Are stative. All the closed system items are stative. كل الارticles stative. Pronouns stative. Interjections stative. What else? Conjunctions, demonstratives, prepositions, all of them, all the six items, the six groups of closed system items are what? Are stative. No action, no activity, no changing conditions. So let us agree and something settled. They are all stative. The differentiation between stative and dynamic will be dealt where in the open class items. In the open class items concerning nouns, verbs, adverbs, adjectives. They agree on one point. قسموا these open class items to what? Verbs and adverbs are what? Dynamic. Nouns and adjectives are what? Are stative. Clear? خلينا نتفق على هذه مبدئيا. Something basically, simply speaking, up to this point, nouns and adjectives are what? Are stative. Verbs and adverbs are dynamic. Let us see what does this mean. The open class have some notable general characteristics. We have just seen that the adverbs of the productive class. What does it mean, productive? In which I can produce new adverbs by just adding, for example, ly to the adjective and something like that. Are in a one-to-one relation with adjectives. What does it mean, one-to-one relation? And now say happy, adjective, happily, adverb, heavy, adjective, heavily, adverb. So there is what? There is a one-to-one relation with adjectives. There are regular word formation processes giving a comparable one-for-one relation between nouns and adjectives. Nouns and adjectives, and between nouns and verbs. For the rest, it is useful to see nouns, adjectives. راح نشوف nouns والadjectives and verbs in connection with the opposition of statements of stative and dynamic. Broadly speaking, nouns and adjectives can be characterized naturally as stative. Stative. Nouns and adjectives, they are stative. Why? Nouns refer to entities that are regarded as stable, whether these are concrete, like house, table, paper, or abstract, like hope, botany, lamp. You see? هذه اتفقنا. Adjectives and nouns are stative. On the other hand, verbs and adverbs can be equally, naturally characterized as dynamic. Most obviously, verbs which are fitted by their capacity to show tense aspect, for example, to indicate action, activity, and temporary or changing condition. These relations between the open classes can be summarized thus. انتبهوا علي، انتبهوا لهذا التable or this figure. Illustrative قلنا nouns and adjective. Dynamic, I have the verb and the adverb. okay? But there is a close relation, or there is interchangeability between nouns and verb. How? When I say teach, it is a verb. Teacher, noun. See, work, verb. The same word can be noun. Walk, walk up. The adjective here, again, I have what? Adjective, for example, say what? Sad. Sad. It is adjective. Sadly حولتها what? To adverb. حولتها من حالة الstative to حالة dynamic. But we saw that there are some verbs such as know, which could now normally be used with the progressive. He is knowing. That is could not be seen as referring to something that was in progress. Verbs so called stative. قلنا لحد الآن النوم من الأفعال المنتل بالإضافة للأوكسيلاريز. كل الأوكسيلاريز stative. وراح نضيف لهم شنو؟ المنتل. And they should be seen as exceptions within the class of verbs. These are exceptions in the other direction among the nouns, not all of which need to be stative. You see? Again we have, احنا قلنا nouns are stative, but not all nouns are stative. Not all nouns are stative. For example, a child may be well behaved 1 minute and a nonsense or naughty the next. Now ما صار عندي فد something stable. لأن هسه عندك child مرة قاعد ساكت وما بيشي بعدين مرة ثانية لا. He's very naughty, so there is what? Change in condition. One time the child is, for example, very calm, very quiet, and other time the child is very naughty. So this situation is similar when we turn to the remaining open word class. Adjectives, although they are predominantly stative, with tall, red, old, some adjectives can resemble verbs in referring to, on occasion, to transitory conditions of behavior or activity such as naughty, or insolent. And since B verbs must be used to make predication having any noun or adjective as complement, we must qualify the statements made that this is a stative verb. It can be used dynamically in the progressive when the complement is dynamic. احنا قلنا البي verbs no action at all, so they are what? They are stative. But if the subject complement is dynamic, so you can change, you can put ing here to make it what? Depending on the complement you have. He is being naughty, or he is being nonsense. Again, the child is being naughty. Here is being means at the time of speaking. ربما بعدين يهدى بعدين ينام أو كذا. So at the time of speaking he is naughty. That's why I put ing progressive. You see, this is the point. And we have more than one test to judge the noun or the adjective to be what. For example, قلنا not all adjectives are what are stative. Not all adjectives, most adjectives are what? Stative. We'll say, for example, the adjective tall, the adjective long, short. نقول لك don't be tall. Is it okay to be don't be tall? انت اصلا, for example, you are characterized as the physical appearance of your body. You are tall, for example. يقول لك don't be tall, كأنك at the time of speaking تطول نفسك انت. لا, هذه ما تصير. فتول completely it is what? It is stative adjective. But When I ask, for example, be quiet, I can say quiet is a dynamic adjective. Be careful, be brave. So quiet, brave, careful هذه dynamic adjective because simply speaking they admit the imperative form. هذه one test to judge whether the adjective is stative or dynamic. يعني ما دا أقول هنا if it's something what it is just like a decision, you have to, something obligatory. No, all adjectives in English are stative. Yeah. Indeed, it is essential to realize that this is a primary distinction. You see, primary, not something settled, not something permanent. It is what? Just to make some sort of generalizations, are in the nature of general characteristics rather than immutable truth. No small part of language's value lies in its flexibility. Thus, we can take a normally dynamic item, say the verb, he wrote the book. wrote طبعا هي dynamic, the wrote, there is action, writing, so it is dynamic, and nominalized it, the writing of the book. So you see حولناها من الverb to what? To the noun by putting ing. طبعا هذا ing مو ing of a progression, مو progressive aspect. This ing of nominalization, pretending as it were to see the action as a static thing. So also the verb tax beside the noun taxation. Again, the name participle reflects the fact that such a form participate in the features both of the verb. The girl is sitting there. And of the adjective the sitting girl. هنا غيرنا from verb to what? هذا participle adjective. Yeah. This is our lecture for today by Gatswold. Yes, again, as I've told you before, this or these all items, all topics will be discussed with more and more detail by Gatswold in